Jananam sukadham maranam karunam milanam maduram smaranam karunam Kalavishadya Sakalam Karunam Samayadipate Akilam Karunam. Good evening everyone.
Good evening, Sadhguru. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sadhguru and I have known each other for some time. I was privileged to be at the ashram for a day, taken by him in his souped-up 1967 Suzuki Jeep. I've got the year right.
Toyota.
Or Toyota, same thing, Japanese. And we went around and I saw the enormous body of work that he's doing. All my life, I was accustomed to a different kind of spiritualism which began after 7:30 in the evening. But for the first time, I noticed how humanism injected through a philosophy which is neutral, except passionate about life, can really impact the lives of people he and the foundation touch. So let's first begin with a personal…
Shall I say something?
Please.
Today morning somebody called me and said, Sadhguru, is it true that you're having a conversation with Suhel Seth? I said, yes. Sadhguru, how can you do this? He's the most unspiritual kind. I said, if he was really spiritual, I have no business with him. If he's unspiritual, he's my work. Those who are unspiritual are my work, and the thing is, if you want to have a conversation, they should be able to talk and the man can talk.
So it's 1-0. But I haven't said in whose favor yet. No.
I said good things about you.
I know. It's a very nice way of starting. You almost muzzled the anchor before. No, but interestingly, let's start with that. Why do I have to be publicly spiritual or believe in someone or a foundation or a philosophy? Isn't spirituality something that doesn't need definition if privately I'm a good human being?
See, first of all, people's idea of spirituality comes from the common calendars that hang on their walls. They think, generally in this country, this image has spread. If you say, I'm spiritual, first question they ask is, what are the things you cannot do? So their idea of spirituality is, it's some sort of a disability. Spirituality is not a disability, it is a tremendous empowerment. You must be able to do more things than normal people do if you're spiritual. But generally, they think spiritual means you will not be able to do anything. I mean, something as simple as, because you mentioned the car, I'm saying, people will… initially they used to say, oh, he drives his own car, how is he a guru? I said, well, if I have a chauffeur, will I become a better guru? I drive my own car, I cook my own food, I do my own things. Is that a wrong thing to do? So, this idea of what is spiritual and not spiritual is something that I've been trying to bring proper perspective to. There is no human being on the planet who is not spiritual in some way. It is just that some people claim the mantle.
No, so let's stay with this. If you were to define spiritualism as we know it, and I'm not talking about the misconception which you've just touched upon, how would you define spirituality? Well, let me tell you what the flip side is. In India, we have more gurus than we have traffic lights.
Not true.
We do. Okay, not gurus.
There are more…
godmen, magicians. And there's almost a belief, and I really want your views on this because I've heard you espouse on this brilliantly earlier. There's almost a feeling that the man or woman must subjugate, bow down, and it's another kind of dependency that is created. So, what in your mind is the essence of spiritualism?
I will leave the word spiritualism because I don't know what that is. Spirituality essentially means that you have strived to make your experience of life beyond the realm of the physical. For you, what is beyond the physical is a living experience, it's not a belief. When you're in pursuit of this, your condition is this, that you're a seeker, you're not a believer. Because belief essentially means you have concretized your assumptions about life and beyond. Seeking means you have realized that you do not know. I do not know is a tremendous possibility. Only when you see I do not know, the possibility of knowing becomes a living reality for you. Seeking, longing, wanting to know, this becomes a possibility. So spirituality essentially means either you have reached a place where your experience of life is beyond your physical nature, you're able to touch that which is beyond physical, or you're in a state where you're seeking. That means you have admitted your ignorance about the nature of this existence and your own existence.
Do you believe that sometimes our insecurities or our egos prevent us from admitting to our insecurities and that we need
I said I don't…
the quest?
I said I'm not for belief.
Well, in a manner people will…
No, I know, it's become so much a part of our daily language, I believe this, I believe that, then I believe other things, everything. So I am trying to banish the word belief. What you know, you know. What you do not know, you do not know. What's the problem with this? What I know, I know. What I do not know, I do not know. It's wonderful and human of us to see what we do not know as we do not know. Unless we see that, we will never strive to know. So, when it comes to this, about people not admitting their ignorance, because I think it is the nature of education, it is the way we have been conducting lots of things, where ignorance is considered a bad thing. Ignorance is a borderless thing, okay? Ignorance is a borderless reality. What you are yet to know is a limitless possibility. What you know is a tiny little thing. So you are identifying with the tiny little thing that you know and you're ignoring an immense possibility which you do not know. A constant admittance that I do not know so much about this existence is what makes you into an active, open intelligence. Otherwise, you will become… there are words which I don't want to use.
Over time, we've seen more and more spiritual movements take shape in our country, in countries elsewhere. We've seen more and more people across strata, across income, across education, actually take to this path. Why do you think that's happened?
See, this is a fundamental human longing. This can never be put down. This is… wherever you are as a human being, you want to be something more. That something more happens, you want to be something more. This is an endless thing. If I make you the king of this planet, I will not, okay?
No, neither will I become.
So, even if you're made the king of this planet, you will naturally look at the stars. This is the nature of human intelligence. You cannot… people think spirituality means to be content with what you have. Contentment is containment. That is not the nature of human intelligence. Human intelligence does not want more, it wants all. All cannot be had physically. Unless you transcend the physical nature, you cannot have all of it. This longing may not find conscious expression in most people, but generally we say if it finds physical expression, simple basic physical expression, we call this sexuality. What you're trying to do is, what is not you, you're trying to make it a part of you. If it finds a mental expression, it gets labeled as conquest, greed, or simply shopping, whatever you want to call it. If it finds an emotional expression, you will call it love, compassion. But if it finds a conscious expression, generally in this country, technically we call it yoga, because the word yoga means what is you and what is universal has become one. The word yoga does not mean twisting your body or whatever else, it means your experience of life is become one with the existence. Or the normal English term is spirituality.
Let's go back to your early years.
Hey.
It's important. See, people must know that you had divine intervention and you didn't have to work as hard as us and not be able to have even one person come to listen to us ever. No, I'm just joking. No, but how did this entire process enthuse, embrace, engulf you? And what were the early years like?
Oh. Not spiritual.
Not at all?
Not at all.
So there was no wine to divine, or was it divine to wine?
The thing was, see, as a child, one thing that happened to me was, when I was about 4 years of age, I suddenly realized that I don't know anything, which made me look so dumb. Because if even somebody gives me a glass of water, I would be just staring at the water for 3 to 4 hours at a stretch, because I don't know what is water. Well, I know I can drink it, I can use it in so many ways, but I don't know what it is. Even today we don't know what it is, the fact of the matter is. With all the scientific exploration, we still do not know one atom in its entirety. This is a fact. So, if I find a leaf, I could just be staring for 6, 7 hours. I sit up in the bed like this, I'm just staring at the darkness the entire night. My dear father, being a physician, started thinking I need psychiatric evaluation. This boy is simply staring at something, he's lost it. In this condition, they also sent me to school. They know what the school is.
But these guys go to very expensive schools, where there are buildings but no education. I mean, not this lot, but you know what I'm talking about.
So my mother said, you must pay attention to the teacher. I went and paid attention to the teacher. The kind of attention they would have never received in their life. Initially I sort of understood what they were trying to say, but then suddenly one day I realized, they're only making sounds, I'm making up meanings in my head. Even now, this is a fact. I'm only making sounds, you're making up the meaning in your head. Because language is a conspiracy between two people. If I speak in a language that you do not understand, they're just sounds, isn't it? When I realized this, I stopped making meanings, and suddenly I started enjoying the sounds that the teachers were making so much more than the so-called meaning that they were delivering. So I just teacher after teacher, entire day, they keep coming and making sounds and sounds and sounds. I paid absolute attention to this and I was so amused, a huge smile spread on my face. They were not amused at all. And this happened 8 years ago, that this school where I studied 45 years ago, they came to invite me for their 125th anniversary. I said, see, please, why me? Because I was not just a not good student, I was not even a student. I only went there when it was… I only went there when it was absolutely necessary. Otherwise I was somewhere else. So, they said, no, our school has produced union ministers, our school has produced cricketing stars, film stars, you're the only mystic, you have to come. So I went there and stood up in this quadrangle, the same oppressive buildings. Then when I saw this classroom, it just came back to me after many years. I was around 12 years of age, maybe a little over 12, maybe 13, I think 12. So, those days I wouldn't utter a word for many days, because when you don't know anything, what do you say? My problem is I have a billion questions hanging here. What is this? What is that? What is that? What is that? Nobody seems to have an answer for anything. but they have all ready-made explanations for everything in the universe. So, this man, the teacher, is trying to get an answer from me, a response from me, but I don't say anything. I'm just looking at him, but I won't say anything. After 35–40 minutes, he was so frustrated. He came, held me by the shoulder, shook me violently like this and said, "You must either be the divine or the devil. I think you're the later." So this… I was not abused by this or felt offended by this. Till now my problem is what is this, what is that, what is that? One thing was clear, this is me. Suddenly this guy confused me about this also. I looked, what is this? Is this divine? Is this devil? What the hell is this? So I tried to stare at myself, it didn't work, so I closed my eyes. Initially it started in minutes and went into hours. One day I sat down like this. I thought it's 25–30 minutes. When I opened my eyes, there was a crowd of people. India being what it is, garlands around my neck and people are trying to pull my legs. And somebody wants to know about his business, somebody wants to know about when his daughters will get married. I said, where the hell did you all come from? Because I just closed my eyes and I opened my eyes and a few hundred people sitting.
How many days?
And then they said, you've been sitting here for 13 days.
So, for 13 days, if you keep quiet, shut your eyes…
Yes.
You can become a master.
No, I'll tell you. So this question that you asked came to me in a different form. I thought it's a very American question, it's strange that you're asking this. An American woman came to me and she said, "Sadhguru, I've been doing yoga for 32 years, nothing happened to me. You just went and sat on a rock and it happened to you, this is not fair." So the only thing that I did right from my childhood is this: I never ever identified myself with anything. My parents, my family, whatever the local religion, caste, creed, society, education, political systems, whatever that's around me, I never ever identified with anything. If human intelligence does not identify with anything, it'll explode into a completely different possibility. This is true for every human being. Unfortunately, they're indoctrinated from the moment they're born.
Very interesting, because here it mirrors what people like Alain de Botton or Richard Dawkins have said, that religion is but a cluster control mechanism, building communities, giving people an identity. So you say it's important to be independent of any identity, then align yourself to one?
If your interest is only survival in the society, identity is needed. If your interest is to know this life, experience this life, because I think that is the purpose of being here. Once we have come here, we should know at least this life. If you're not interested in knowing the cosmos, that's up to you. But at least this piece of life you must know in its entirety, otherwise I feel it's a wasted life. If that needs to happen, you should not be identified with anything, not God, not devil.
Do you believe over time, because of insecurities, social correctness, peer pressure, there is a surge to identify?
It is there, but at the same time, the way the religions are today, that they seem to be, on an upsurge in terms of violence and stuff and everything, this kind of stuff, in my estimate, will last for another 80 to 100 years maximum. Why I'm saying it has a life of another 80 to 100 years is, human intellect has never sparked as it is sparking today. More people on this planet can think for themselves like never before. Whether they think right or wrong, that's not the point, but they can think for themselves. As this progresses, solutions in heaven will not work. People will want to know, what is it here? But when this happens, if we do not bring forth an active scientific process of spirituality, when I say scientific, as there is a science for knowing the external realities, there is an entire science to know the inner realities. If this doesn't become the way of the world, people will naturally fall back to drink and drug. This will become all pervasive. There is no question about this, because something may go away, But you may destroy the heaven with your intellect, but human longing for something more will not go away. When they want to experience something more and heaven is gone, drink and drugs and more cocktails of drugs will become more and more popular. You already see one country after another slowly making it legal. It'll become all legal, everywhere. If you don't make it legal, anyway people will still use it. Because the longing to experience something more is inherent within a human being, you cannot stop it. If you don't give them the right way, they will find another way.
No, but here's my question. And let's say I agree with you on drugs completely. Why drink? And I'm not asking in a facetious manner. But it's the same argument that people say that, oh, if you subscribe to the tenets of this political ideology or this religion, you must be only vegetarian. Why are we invading private spaces in today's world? Do you believe with the civilized world that we live in, or seemingly, private spaces should be invaded? Should we be talking about the kind of food, the kind of religion, the kind of drink, the kind of life we should lead?
If you can't digest what someone else eats, you really have a problem, okay? Having said that, this entire beef debate, I think it all got skewed in a completely wrong way. We must first of all understand why this cow thing in this country. There are many aspects, if you allow me. There is entire science to this. First and foremost thing is, we have been a pastoral nation for thousands of years.